Hello everybody, it is LE Diecast and we've got a very special episode today. It is all Matchbox, all old Matchbox, and mostly super fast Matchbox. We've got a few Lesnies fit in there and a few that came after the super fast that I wanted to share. But they are vintage Matchbox, and believe it or not, these are some of the most watched shows on my channel, are the Matchbox ones. And so I've been saving these cars for about a month now to show you, because it's real close to our 500th episode. And, well, I wanted to make sure that I spent some time with my Matchbox collecting brethren. Real quick, you know that we've got our prize box giveaway. Look back about 2 episodes and you'll see where you can join that. It is free anywhere in the world. As long as you have an address, you can be a part of it. We will be announcing the winner on our 500th episode, so you only have till the 500th episode to jump on. I'm going to throw one more car in the mix for that, and that is this new Batmobile, just because I found it today and I thought you guys should have it. Some lucky winner should have it. It's also in a weird blister. I'm not sure that's the normal one. But that is going in the prize box. So, go back about 2 episodes. You'll see all the rules for the prize box. Watch that episode. You might win it. All right, let's look at some Matchbox cars here. How I'm going to do this is I'm just going to roll a few out here, like these 2 guys right here. Let's get a good view of them here, right there. These are the Hellraisers. These are super fast cars, one of the more iconic super fasts. So when you look at these, you might think that they're the same. Now with the super fast cars, there's a bajillion variations. They are a little different than the Hot Wheels in that the variations just kind of came and went. I think a lot of it was based off of just what materials they happen to have. These are actually 2 different variations. They look the same, but one has a painted base, that is painted silver on metal, and this one is unpainted. And they are 2 documented variations. They're basically worth the same, and they came out around the same time for both of these. There is a variation of the blue without the sticker, but it's hard to tell because sometimes the stickers come off, and those are stickers on the super fast cars. Let's take a look at the next group here, or the next one, and that is going to be this blue shark. Another one of those iconic super fast cars. You can see its suspension is still working just fine. That one is in real good condition. And our blue shark here, I had to look it up in the price guide, that's why I had to cut away. These, a couple things about the blue shark. First of all, they only came in blue, so they all look exactly the same. Some of them had a 69 label on the front, and some have an 86. There's a few that have a scorpion label on the front. The scorpion label ones are all worth quite a bit of money. So if you see a scorpion label on that, well, grab it up. These little exhaust pipes on the back are plastic, and they tend to break off really easy. Also, that windshield there gets really scratched, and the tops of those little humps get trashed because this guy goes scraping along the ground and it gets trashed. You might have noticed that unpainted metal base. That's usually the differentiating thing between the variations. And this guy is one of the earlier versions. All the earlier versions are worth basically the same. And I don't think any of them are too much harder to find than any others. So thank you, Mr. Blue Shark. Next up, we have this wonderful little Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow 2. The Silver Shadow here came in a few colors. It came in like a silver grayish color, a metallic red. It came in this tan and a plum color. I believe there was a black one late in the run also, and maybe like a reddish maroon color if I remember right. This one has the unpainted base. It's got the dot dash wheels. That's another thing with these Superfasts, is they would have wheel variations all over the place. This particular one with the dot dash wheels, not really worth anything in particular, but oh, also the windshield. This one came with an amber windshield as well, and you can see that suspension. This guy's kind of clunky, but they do have that suspension on them. Doors open. Very nice little car there. Thank you, Mr. Silver Shadow. Next up is this little guy. Get him in focus. There we go. He is a Ford Cortina. I do not have one of these from the Superfast line. This particular little guy, somebody's going to have to fill me in on it, because I know this model, there were two versions of it, and I can only find one version of my price guide. My price guide lists a metallic brown body version as really rare. I don't think this is it, because I think it would have mentioned the stripes. I know there's Bulgarian and Hungarian and other versions of this guy, so I don't think this is the one that is worth quite a bit. But I know a bunch of people watch this show that are experts in this. So somebody tell me a little bit more about that one. I'll kind of show you everything about it there so you can tell me what you think. It's an unpainted base. So you can let me know. On to the next one. We have this little beauty, and he is a lot older than it looks. That is the, show you the bottom there. Matchbox Series number 71. That is the wreck truck. It's down there on the bumper. This one I don't know too much about. I know it's kind of right after the Lesney era, partially because of the way it looks, but those tires also. I'll give you the base. You guys can fill me in again if you know anything too much more about it. I think this is one of the transitionals. It's a Superfast. The transitionals usually have that Superfast logo just written on them, and then the series that came after that did not have the Lesney stamp on it, which is down there in that little pit there. So, a nice one. Next up, we've got this guy and a little police car. Now, this guy needs some cleaning up here. Just a second. Let me clean this guy up. Okay. There you go. Now he's a little bit cleaner. It looked like somebody had been licking him. This is the Fire Chief. Now, there were a ton of variations on this one. I probably have 10 of them. Sorry about that. That is not the Mercury Fury. That is the Plymouth. It's a Plymouth car. Wait, it'll come to me. It is the Plymouth Grand Fury. Yeah, the Plymouth Grand Fury. There's the name. I could just look on the bottom. There is the name upside down. There is the name. Plymouth Grand Fury. Super fast with a very bouncy suspension. Particular one is one of the earlier ones that came out. The first two variations on this were almost similar, except I think the first one had solid blue lights, and this one has the transparent blue lights. Interesting that the lights are not part of the window piece. They're separate colors. So you get a little bit extra detail on that. These aren't worth a ton. In fact, they're not worth too much at all. I think because they were so common. But I like that one. That is a nicey. Next up, we've got these three little beauties, which I got at 3 different places, all within about 2 weeks of each other. This is the... It's upside down, that's the problem. That's the Formula 1 Racer, so you can see the bottom on that. I'll show you the bottom on each of these. I think all of these have unpainted bottoms. And 2 have their stickers. I believe the purple one never had a sticker, but I will tell you in just a second. So a couple things interesting about it. First of all, it's the Formula 1. There is an F1. That's kind of that fat little racing car that we've seen on the show before. These are the Formula 1s, even though it says F1 on the bottom. But they all did come with stickers. This one actually had stickers on it, and you can't even tell. there's a sticker. Usually there's a residue on them. The purple, pink, metallic pink officially, these came first, and there was about 5, 6 variations of these. Then the blue ones came along, and then the orange ones, and then there are yellow ones that came along that. And I think there was a red one was the last one that they released that's really hard to find. There might have been a white one too, I'm trying to remember, but these are the main colors. Now, as far as the variations go on this, the blue is usually the hardest one to find, at least out of the main colors. And my price guide doesn't have these particular wheels in it, so I don't really know what that one's worth. Again, you guys can tell me. It's in really pretty good shape. Probably been played with, but not very much. The pink one doesn't have its stickers, so it's awfully hard to tell which variation it is. And then this particular guy, I think, was one of the first of the 2 orange variations. It's relatively hard to find, at least in good shape. The problem with finding these is always with the stickers. The stickers come off, and then they're difficult to identify. So we'll move those guys over here. Next up, we've got this little roll Ematic, and you'll see those little pistons popping in the back. Let's see if we can get his front open here to show that off. He is the Clipper. There you go. And it is one of the Roll-O-Matic Superfast. I had one of these as a kid. It was one of my favorite cars. This particular one is the amber windshield with the yellow interior, with the green body, and most importantly, the white tail lights. There was chrome versions too, and that's what I mean with these Superfast is I think a lot of the variations were just dependent on what they ran out of. So they just ran out of chrome and released these, and then it becomes a variation that people collect. So I guess that's fun if you're into variations. But the Clipper, he will kind of keep roll-o-maticing along there. Next up, we have this very cool little Freeway Gas Tanker. So my variation here has no tow hook on it. At least I don't think it did. It's kind of hard to tell. It's got the Shell labeling on it. That's probably the most important thing. Purple windows, yellow base. That puts this guy kind of as one of the middle run ones. These you basically identify by the stickers and the colors. So a lot of times you'll see the stickers listed first on these because there were so many of them. But I have a few of those. I do not have that one, but I have him now. Next up, we've got this little crane. I'm going to get him in an action pose here. This is the, slide down again, the crane truck. This one has a lot of stuff on the bottom there. The crane truck. You might notice that number on the bottom of these. That number does not necessarily identify it easily. I wish it did, trust me. But that number is there because there would always be a certain amount of slots on the displays that these were sold on. And so there might be a whole bunch of 40s, and they would just be 40s that once one 40 version ran out, they'd put another car in and call it 40. Because they didn't really release years or series of these, they just kind of kept putting them out over time. And so once they just ran out of all the 40s of one car, another car, completely different casting would take its place on the display. Eventually they phased that out. They kind of kept with the number system for a while. The displays weren't so important. But it makes identifying these kind of tricky because there's not much on the base that really helps you. And then throw in the fact that there were just a lot of different versions of the same car, and they were making them in different places. So it gets a little bit tricky to identify the Matchbox cars. So our little crane truck here, he is going to be just brilliant to identify. They all came in yellow. except for a red one that's really hard to find. And let's see. So first we got to cover what boom he's got. He has a black boom. And if he has blue windows, oh, if he had blue windows, he'd be very, very rare. He is dark green windows. There you go. I don't see any stickers on him. He does have a plastic base. And I'll be back in a second and tell you exactly which one he is. And this guy, he turns out he's kind of in the middle run of the yellow ones. There was a whole bunch of them with different color windows. They're all worth the same. This guy tends to have his hook broken off, and a lot of times this little plastic boom has broken off. This particular guy came in his box, so he still has his little box with him. You'd think that box would help me identify it, but no. See, the crane on the box is totally different. It has a black, or it has a yellow boom on it. That's the box that they would come in. See, there's that number, and, or that's not the number, sorry. There it is. There's the number. That's that number that they would put this in display with. So we'll move him aside. Next, we'll get this little Mini Cooper down here. He is the Racing Mini from 1970. This one might be one of the transitionals. So this one's kind of interesting. This little Mini Cooper, which often is missing his sticker. Again, those are stickers. So once these guys got played with outside, those stickers bit the dust pretty quick. But this little guy's stickers, that 29 would usually have a green outline. And the earlier ones, the really early ones, which you can tell by the base, this guy is one of the earlier ones because it does not have that Superfast logo. It just has it kind of written there. The ones with the orange outlines are the older ones, and that means he might be worth something, oh boy. Because you know how much I believe in these things being worth something. But anyways, if we identify what this guy is, I'm looking now. He has an ivory interior. Does he have an unpainted base? He has an unpainted base. And that is going to mean that I can't tell what he is. He's unpainted. Oh wait, there might be only one unpainted one here. He is the first of the orange outline, unpainted base, reddish orange, ivory interior, Racing Minis. Oh, yay! That's what being a Matchbox collector is like. All right, last but certainly not least, we have this little guy, and he is a Porsche. What's the number? 828, I believe. 928, sorry. He's a 928. There probably is no 828. It's got opening doors. We'll open those up for you. They work just fine. I do have a bunch of these. I do not have this one, and I believe this one has an interior variation color. That brown, I think, is the difference, but let's look him up. Yeah, and that is the difference. There's a brown interior and a tan interior, and I believe that is the only difference, yeah. This came out towards the end of the run of this guy, but I do have the other variation of this, and I would guess they just started running out of brown is what happened on that guy. But that is a neat little car. So thanks for watching, everybody. We are going to do some more of these because I have quite a few more Superfasts to share with you. And I thought that was pretty fun, so we will do this again. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.